Well, just want to kind of do another little video. I know I'm waiting on doing a dyno video on the 440, and I need to get that out. Working on editing that. I just didn't really like how that turned out, but I should get that out in the next little while. But anyways, kind of a two-for-one video here. Gonna do kind of a walk around on the 69 GTX that we just got, and this 68 Belvedere that we're going to be bringing down to deliver to a friend of ours in Texas in a couple of days. So um, we'll start off with the Belvedere. This is a 1968 Belvedere. Um, very plain, basic car. Somebody painted it. It almost looks like petty blue. It's not, but that kind of color. It's got some junk that we had just sitting in it. Um, Standard gauge cluster and everything. The dash is complete. Thumb wheel radio is still there. It has manual pedals in it because it's a 3 on the tree. Um, Still has the column for it and everything. So that's kind of interesting to see something like that. It's originally this gold color that the floor is, and that you can see on the roof here with I would assume black interior. Yeah, black interior based on the rear upper panels being black and the dash being black and everything. And there's no evidence of a vinyl top or anything like that. So it was gold with black interior. So kind of, not the worst color combo, not the best either, but it's all right. To our post, I think all Belvederes were for the later generation, that 68 through 70, that kind of last run of the Belvederes. I think they were all two-door posts. Correct me if I'm wrong. Um, it's kind of interesting because you really don't see them that often. This quarter was hit pretty good at one point. It has a 69 trunk lid on it that I think was just setting on there. I don't know if it's unlocked. No, it's locked, or else I would open it for you. This quarter's hit a little bit, and it's got some rust down low. I know there's a little bit of glare. You guys can't really see too well. But the quarters are pretty much shot. This is pretty much going to be a parts car. Guy needs it for the roof and then like the post section and the door jambs and stuff for a Roadrunner that was hitting the side. So it'll be going to good use. It could be saved, but at the end of the day, it is a Belvedere. So, and beyond the fact of it just being a Belvedere and being the lowest possible trim, it has a leaning tower of power under the hood. But yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen to this Slant 6. I thought about trying to get it running, but there's no plug wires, any of that stuff. Bunch of stuff looks like it's chewed. It looks like any and all of the electronics are questionable at best. So, but it's kind of interesting to see this car. It is as bare bones as you can get, really. I mean, it's manual steering, Slant 6 with a 3-speed manual, manual brakes, 2-speed wiper, um, non-AC, none of that. So it's kind of interesting. And then that 22-inch small radiator. You can see the fender tag. And of course, correct me if I'm wrong, but all the stuff kind of from here down is fairly standard stuff, and it's up here where the options are. I'm really not great with the earlier tags, but there's an option there. It's a U1, and then there's an option that's R1. So yeah, it's pretty plain Jane. There's the paint code JJ1. That must be the gold. Like I said, I'm not too familiar with the earlier tags as compared to like your 69 and up. I'm better with those. But you can see just it's almost kind of fun just to look at a Slant 6 because it's just so different than what you normally see. But I would assume that this is the original engine, and the VIN shows it is slant 6, so. And I have no idea why anybody would swap it to a slant 6 if it wasn't originally. That would be kind of dumb. But yeah, we will get this delivered down to Texas, and it'll be used to save a real deal Roadrunner, so that's always a good thing. A lot of good parts. I mean, it's crazy how many parts are on a car like this that you're like, well, it's missing doors. It doesn't even have a whole lot of stuff. Well, the dash alone is worth quite a bit of money. People actually pay a few bucks for that manual steering box, hood hinges, all kinds of brackets, and big thing is bolts. Can't even tell you how many times somebody's taken a car apart and lost all their fender bolts or all their front bumper filler bolts or their hood bolts or whatever. And hood bolts are actually a specific thing. You can't just like get that from a hardware store and have it be right, so a lot of good stuff like that. This guy is a good friend. He's got like 5 or 6 Roadrunners, so this will definitely go to good use. And it's a no title car anyways, so not gonna be an easy thing to save if somebody wanted to save it. I think that's kind of cool, that Belvedere badge. But anyways, that's kind of it for this car. And we'll try to bring you along for that trip down to Texas a little bit, see if I can get some footage or anything of any of his cars or any stuff along the way. But that's it for this car. Moving on to kind of the opposite of this car, the Belvedere being the base model and the GTX being the high level car. And this is a 69. Just picked this up locally, It has what I believe to be, oh, that was not good. What I believe to be a 67 383. The reason I think it's a 67 is because it has 516 heads. Those were 66 and 67, so it could be either one. Somebody must have just kind of thrown this in there for who knows what reason. And you can tell just the way it's sitting, it's not really in there right. And this car will also be going to Texas to the same guy. And this is sold, so to speak, so we will get this down there probably next month or the month after. He's not in a real big hurry. But this car was originally B3 blue, as you can see on the firewall and stuff. B3 blue with, I looked up the code. It's B3 blue with a white vinyl top and B7 blue interior. So kind of an oddball, You don't see a lot of cars that are 3 colors, and you definitely don't see that combination very much. But it's got the Roadrunner or GTX, same thing, hood on it, so that's pretty cool. And it's a rusty car. It's a really rusty car overall. I mean, you can see there's the remnants of where a battery tray used to go. So, and a GTX is never a plain Jane car, but when it comes to a GTX, this is pretty plain. It was a 440 automatic, which is standard equipment. It has a manual brakes, 2-speed wiper, and a bunch of other just kind of base model stuff. It was a power steering car, it looks like. But yeah, I mean, it didn't have a whole lot going for it, generally. Has the normal block offs in the hood, not the air grabber vents or anything like that. So pretty basic. You can see the dash. It's just a normal dash. It's not a 3-speaker dash or anything kind of cool like that. It had the rocker, the trim that kind of went right above the rocker and through the door and stuff. I think that was standard on all GTXs. I would have to double check. I don't remember. There's more remnants of the B3 blue. Didn't even have a rear defroster or anything. And you can see the B7 blue interior panels that are pretty messed up. You know, honestly, I think out of all this sort of generation of interior panels, I think that's my favorite, with the wood grain in the middle and all that. So I don't know, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think as far as this kind of 68 through 70 kind of era, what your favorite interior panels are. There's more shot of the interior panel with the little red, white, and blue badge that goes there. It's 150 Speedo, as all GTXs were to my knowledge. Standard steering wheel. It's not the wood grain wheel or anything cool like that. It is air conditioning. It is a bucket seat console car, so that's a upgrade. Well, what's left of a console at least. And it's got the really cool, I'll try to zoom in on that, GTX right in the corner there. That's always one of my favorite things. I always like the GTX logo, emblem, and stuff like that. So, but that's pretty much it for the interior. Even the doors are pretty bad. And doors on 68 through 70 B bodies, this door's alright, but and there's that GTX badge everybody loves. Doors on 68 through 70 B bodies really don't go bad, at least in my area, and we're in Minnesota, right in the top end of the Rust Belt, so that's really saying something. And it's got all kinds of extra stuff going on here, the GTX only tail panel and the GTX only tail lights, so that's really cool. Even the rear bumper is rusted out, and that's just ridiculous. It's got the lights in the bumper like the 68 and 69. I think also 70 Chargers also had that same light. They actually interchange, so that's pretty cool. This car was rear-ended at some point, not very hard, but it was hit in the back, creased pretty good. So that's, I don't know. I mean, that's probably not the reason it was parked, but definitely a piece of evidence from its past. And now here's something interesting. When you're looking at this quarter panel, you're like, oh, that's not that bad. Well, look at it now. This is metal over top of where there used to be metal. So that just shows you how rusty the car really is. It's actually sitting on a block there to keep the back end up. The torsion bar cross member, you guys probably won't be able to see it, but torsion bar cross member is rusty, so it's sagging in the front really low. That's why it's like that. And the rear frame rails pretty much don't exist as far as rust goes. Has the very rare frame rail delete option, but in all seriousness, they're really bad. Looks like it has the 11-inch drum brakes. I think that was standard. I would have to look. I'd have to look at my books again. I'm not sure, but I think that's standard equipment. 8 3/4 rear end. So, and that's standard equipment as well. It should, and correct me if I'm wrong, it should have a minimum gear in a GTX of a 323. And I want to say that they're supposed to be sure grips, but I'm not going to claim that because I don't remember. I'm not going to say something is if it actually wasn't. But yeah, I don't know. I just figured I'd show you that. This is a pretty interesting car. It's really rusty. I mean, it'll need quarters, outer wheelhouses, trunk pan, trunk extensions, rear frame rails. Might need some work to the front frame rails and the torsion bar cross member, full floor, rear floor pans, both front inner fenders, probably some attention to the firewall, and who knows what else. So, but the guy always wanted a GTX, and I don't know why you wouldn't. You know, everybody loves the Roadrunner, but a GTX beats out a Roadrunner any day when you look at the way it was built. So, but yeah, not trying to talk about it too much, but this car is being traded for the work to be done to the Super B for all the metal work. So, pending deal, don't want to talk about it too much, but pending, if everything works out according to plan, this car is going to him in exchange for all the metal work to be done on the Super B and have it basically ready for body work. So that'll be cool if all goes according to plan and nobody ends up coming out of nowhere and buying the car or something like that. That car will potentially, I'm not going to make promises, potentially be back here in a couple months in all new metal. So that's the story on that. But that's probably enough of me rambling, but that's kind of quick little story of two Plymouths that are going to the same home. So, but that's pretty much it. Please like, comment, subscribe, any of that stuff. It always helps. And if you have any questions about either of the cars or anything you want to see in the other videos, I have a full video on the Super B. I've got a full video on that 70 CUDA. I've got I should do a video on the 68 Cornet RT. Let me know if you want to see that. But that's pretty much it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.